Hi, everyone. I see Celeste and Dawn have joined. Folks, luckily you do not have to be live, just we will be. So go ahead and fill in the chat there. How do we get started? Make sure your sound works so you can hear us. Where'd you hear about us? So write your name, where you're calling in from, and how you heard about Chispa. And we'll be starting here promptly, but thanks for being here. So I'd like to present the other folks that are here with me tonight. We will all be switching off and talking about different things. First, I'd like to present Ava. Ava in the blue shirt there is our communications and educational specialist. She lives in San Pedro Sula, Honduras, and works remotely with our team. And our board of directors president, Maiko, is here. She lives in Tegucigalpa, and they will both be presenting different parts tonight, but glad to have us all here to be able to share what we're up to this year. So the reason we do these annual meetings is to give us a chance to connect directly with you, answer questions live, show some videos that we've never shown before and will never show again. So this is a great chance to get to know us a little more intimately about what we do and catch up on what this year has looked like. So every year we've seen exponential growth. We've been really grateful for the different programs that we were able to do. And so that is what we're hoping to show tonight.
Bienvenidos, gracias por estar aquí.
Estamos contentos de que estén acá.
Queremos compartir nuestros logros con ustedes.
Estamos orgullosos del trabajo que hemos realizado este año y nos sentimos emocionados por compartir nuestro trabajo con ustedes.
So for folks that have been down here before, you'll recognize some of our faces, but those are some of our staff in Honduras, some of our coworkers. And so they were very excited to make this very beautiful video for you. First, we want to say thank you for everyone that helped with our current school supply drive. So we got about $7,000 worth of school supplies that were sent here to my house in St. Louis. And so as some of you know or don't, I am Sarah. I am our executive director. I have lived the last decade in Honduras and just recently moved back to the US with my family. So as our team in Honduras continues to do the work that they do best, I can do the work that I do best as a bridge between our cultures, helping bring down volunteers, spread the word about Chispa Project here in the US, where the largest base of our donors come from. And so really glad to be here and have this opportunity to run our third, school supply drive. And so folks sent all these things to our garage. It piled up over the last month, and we had about, I can't remember now, 25 people, 30 people that came to the house and helped pack all these things to go down. So the kinds of things that you would have seen or helped donate would have included construction paper, chalk for this book that we do where the kids' drawings turn into magic and they come to life. Other things you might have sent include balloons. So we need over like 5,000 balloons for our students next year. Again, this is one of the reading activities we do with science experiments. So reading can be for fun. It can be to learn how to do something. It can be related to a school class. And so we need balloons to help learn about static electricity with one of our science experiments. Or you might have sent tape. And we use tape in a couple different ways. We have a book tape that we use to help sticker our books to make an inventory. We have tape that we use to post our posters, or tape that we use as prizes for teachers, just some masking tape, just kind of an everyday school supply that help our teachers do what they do best and not worry about their school supplies. So thanks for everyone else that helped do those things, because you could also see here our volunteers that come down each year from the US help put together a lot of these supplies. And so the same supplies that we use this year for 5,000 kids, we need again for next year for those 5,000 kids. And that included pencil sharpeners, prizes, pencils, eraser tops, rulers. So a bunch of different things you can see here. We also used a new backpack for the first time. So each of our students got a little backpack to help them carry their things around during the inauguration celebration. And so here's some of the things we're going to go over today. We're going to talk a little bit more about what 2024 looked like. So as you'll remember, the school year runs from February to November in Honduras. And so we're finishing up the school year in Honduras. And so have some numbers for you, as well as some meaningful moments that the staff will share. Maiko will go over our strategic plan. So this is the first time we've had a 3-year strategic plan instead of just year by year. And so really excited about the ways that our board has helped develop us strategically for sustainability for the future. We're going to talk about our new office, our Reignite program, a little bit more about how we're going into schools from previous years and what we're doing to help maintain libraries from the last 8 years. And then some next steps, ways to get involved and stay involved with Chispa. All right, Eva, over to you.
Alrighty, I'll step in. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm excited to share with you our 2024 numbers. We've had a really successful year so far. We have donated over 10,644 books to different schools and communities, and we're not finished yet. We expect to donate an additional, or even more, but an additional 1,000 books through our Reignite program. So again, we will be donating over 11,000 books this year, which is absolutely incredible. We've reached 3,873 new students and trained over 272 teachers on techniques to improve literacy engagement in their classrooms. We even started, we can add a number here, one pilot program to kind of reinvent the way that we're training our teachers and give them additional resources and additional tools that they can use in their classroom to improve literacy. We did all of this by creating 6 new libraries, and as part of a special project, we made 24 reading corners in 4 schools. And all of this was possible because we had 48 international volunteers, which is just absolutely incredible. And I think some of you guys are here today, so thank you for being here. And last but not least, we found one new office, which Sarah mentioned, and we will show you around that office in a little bit. And we hired 2 new staff members. One of them is Lester, and I'm the other one. So hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you so much for helping us make 2024 an incredibly successful year.
So for those of you that are new with us, our main mission is to simply get kids access to books. And some of our main programs include setting up a library just like this one. And as Eva mentioned, we've put in 6 new libraries this year that are kind of the traditional library style that you might recognize in the US, where there is a classroom where kids go to get their books. And so one of the schools was in Santa Rosa de Copan. And as you can see, for those of you that know us, we did get an upgrade this year in the way that we are doing murals. So one of our new staff members that started at the beginning of this year, who is one of our library technicians that works with the school for the whole year, helping them prepare, set up their library, and then does the follow-up throughout the year to make sure that their library is working the way we all imagined. And so one of those technicians is an art teacher. And so you can see some of his artwork throughout the libraries this week, or in these pictures here. And you can see the kids using their books. This is all things that we donate here. So the bookshelves, the books, bean bags, places to sit. We want to make it a really comfortable place to be. And here's kids using it during their dress up as the profession they want to be someday. So that's kind of fun. This is the second library we did this year, and it was in March. in conjunction with the U.S. Embassy in Tegucigalpa and in Honduras capital city. And so with a grant from them, we were able to put in this library in an all-girls school, so a historic all-girls school. You can see here they're also dressed up to act out different characters for the day of the book back in April. Third library, also with some of you volunteers, was put in near the lake region. So we work in 10 of the 18 different departments in Honduras. And so our staff do travel a lot. You can see that here in one of our libraries. It's about 3 hours away. And this school, I want to say, served up to some middle schoolers. So you can see some of the older kids here. And maybe you'll see some books you recognize, like these Diary of a Wimpy Kid or the I Survived series. This fourth library that was also put in April is part of a pilot program to explore with another organization from Guatemala of what other things we can offer our teachers to really provide one-on-one coaching. And so we're continuously looking for ways to improve. And through our year-long program, one of the things we've discovered is we really just can't give our teachers and our schools enough accompaniment, or better to say training. Because we're trying to implement a culture of reading in schools, it does take a lot to help teachers understand not only the very basics of here's how to show pictures, here's how to ask innovative questions, critical thinking, here's how to inspire the analytics of processing what a book means. And so it's that part, but it's also just here's how to check out books to your classes. And so even though we're working in the infrastructure that already exists, so the school building is already there, the teachers are already there, it is a lot of work trying to get into the heads of, no, you really have to read 15 minutes a day. And so we're continuously looking for ways that we can encourage and push teachers to meet those goals for daily reading. And so here we are again in that school. And here's some of the things they've sent back to us, ways that they show us by text message, look, I did one of your activities today. And so this fourth grade teacher, in the school sent some pictures showing, here's what I did. The fifth school was put in Tegucigalpa as well. It's the first time we've painted the ceiling of a library, so that was fun. And this school has almost 1,000 children in it. And so really big collection. Actually, that was helped by some of those folks in the Canadian Rotary up in BC. So I know I had one person here from there. And again, you can see, thanks, Mandy. Yeah, this is yours. You're hopping on just in time. So you can see here's one of the teachers explaining some of the rules of the library and some of those new cushions that we're trying out. You got to love those I Survived books. It's a favorite. Here's some of the kids with their book reports in that same school. And then library number 6, also in Tegucigalpa. And you can just see kids checking out books for the first time, exploring their books. This is also a great picture of one of the ways that we're really innovative in trying to work in what the school needs. So as a gringa, as a foreigner coming into Honduras and living there for so many years, even I still have preconceived notions about what a library should be, when in reality, we really have to adapt those programs continuously to the needs of the local community. And this is why we work in conjunction. Each school has to create their own committee to help implement the library, because it's not, we might be the expert in books, but they are the experts in their own community. And this is why we place a lot of importance on having local staff. So all of our local staff are the ones that implement these projects, that go in and help think from the mind view of the local community of what they need. So this bookshelf, you can see that cover, and it's because most of our windows are going to be open windows. There's just bars over the windows. There's not necessarily glass. So just a lot of dust in the air. And to try and protect those books, we've created this dust cover that goes over the front. And here you can see in that same school, them getting ready for library hour. And then As Eva mentioned, we don't just do the traditional library setting, but we do work with several different organizations around Honduras trying to create programs that bring books in to kids in whatever format. So one of those formats is going to be in reading corners. So in smaller schools where we don't necessarily have a whole extra classroom, maybe the school only has 50 kids total. A multi-grade classroom, so you'll have grades 1 through 6 in one classroom, for example. 1 through 9 in one classroom. And so you can see in these classrooms, we'll put in a reading corner. So a corner that has a multi-level book content, as well as still being able to do some of our programs, but now on the scale of several small schools instead of one big school. And so these special programs we offer in a bunch of different places. And so certainly reach out to us if there's another organization in Honduras that you know that might want to partner with us. We love co-financing projects because we believe it makes us stronger. And we also know that in order to reach kids from across Honduras, we're going to know books. They're going to know their local communities. So how do we partner together? In 2024, these are the different communities that we reached. So as you can see, we work all across Honduras. For 2025, we also have plans to spread out even more, going all the way to Copan Ruinas this year, about 8 hours away from our office. And then overall time, these are the different places we work. So we are in 92 different schools. And again, those range from 20, 30 kids to 1,000 kids, about half and half rural and urban. But it is really important that the books are created, the library programs are created with the schools, in conjunction with the schools. And so that is one of our strengths, is that these programs can adapt to kind of any community. And we've done it in a lot of different ways, both in this traditional library program, as well as the reading corners, as well as this year we put in some literacy programs in a juvenile detention center. We've done it in children's homes, in women's shelters. So a lot of different ways that we partner with other organizations to also get books in the hands of kids. And you can see here some of the teachers going through their training. And yep, and so teacher training is a big part of what we do. And so we really want to make sure that teachers understand how to use these books, because often these children's books are the first children's books for the kids, but they're also the first children's books for teachers. Even though teachers go through university, the universities don't necessarily focus on reading out loud or using children's literature in school, because the universities don't expect that the teachers will have access to children's books. Children's books on average cost between $20 and $30 a piece. So that obviously is not going to be very accessible for folks living off of that $6 a day or less. All right, now we're going to get a chance to share some meaningful moments that the staff has decided to share with you. So we let them pick. And Glenn, as you can see, he just put in the chat, this is one of our coworkers. And so he is excited to also see these videos for the first time tonight. So Glenn, here you go.
Ya, compañero, pongámonos serios. Muy bien, estamos aquí con el equipo Chispa y ahorita vamos a hacer una dinámica para que nos conozcamos un poco más. Vamos a estar contestando algunas preguntitas. El primero, pues, porque está cerca nada más, va a ser Clay.
Algo conmovedor.
Algo conmovedor que haya pasado este año 2024.
Creo que fue compartir con el último viaje de voluntarios de junio. Fue una experiencia muy bonita, muy agradable, y creo que el grupo de voluntarios fue un muy buen equipo de trabajo. Así que, a ver, tiene que decirnos Marvel.
Una pregunta. Bueno, para mí algo conmovedor este año realmente tuve la oportunidad de estar en la escuela en Los Naranjos y algo conmovedor fue la alegría que los niños expresaban cuando los voluntarios estaban trabajando en la biblioteca. Los niños se acercaban con ellos a saludarlos, los abrazaban, se despedían de ellos. Entonces para mí, aparte de todo el trabajo que Chispa estaba llevando a la escuela, la alegría que eso significaba para los niños. Entonces ahora le voy a compartir a Lester para que nos platique.
Algo conmovedor sucedió en la escuela Raúl Saldívar, cuando estaba el equipo de voluntarios trabajando en el mural. Una niña quería pintar y prácticamente en ese momento Mari, que era una de las líderes en el grupo, le dio el espacio y la oportunidad a la niña de poder pintar y al final tomaron una fotografía juntas. Le voy a ceder a Dunia.
Uno de los momentos más conmovedores de este año es que desde el 2020 no trabajábamos con bibliotecas móviles y este año lo logramos. Volvimos a retomar ese proyecto que había estado un poco pues abandonado, digamos, no se había dado la situación. Este año todo pues salió muy bien. Recibimos un grupo de voluntarios que decidieron patrocinar una red de bibliotecas, entonces estuvimos visitando tres escuelitas con 7 docentes que estuvieron recibiendo libros. Son escuelas pequeñas, con pocos estudiantes, que al final están recibiendo un recurso muy valioso. Entonces para mí fue un momento muy conmovedor volver a realizar este proyecto. Y queremos que nos conteste Ana ahora.
Un momento conmovedor para mí de este año ha sido el crecimiento que ha tenido cada una de las personas del equipo. Ya estamos prácticamente en la última etapa, pero todos han ido superándose en los objetivos que nos planteamos, así que estoy muy orgullosa y muy conmovida por todo lo que lograron.
All right, folks. Was everyone able to hear that okay? Just let us know in the chat. And if you need to, maybe try and leave and come back in. Leticia just wrote me in. I'm hoping she's able to hear us okay. So one of the things that we'll be talking about tonight, great, is the new Reignite program. So this has been a question that we've been struggling with. You know, what do we do with schools in the past? What is our responsibility and what is the support that we can provide to a school program that we finished? Because obviously the point of these libraries is to have sustainability, that when we put in a library, schools are able to continue that program on their own. However, we've also noticed that, you know, you have a pretty high turnover of teachers because of government policies. So teachers are rotated around. And so new teachers coming in, new principals coming in, and what happens when the books ruin? So one of the things we've always offered is that teachers or schools are able to purchase books from us at cost. And so we pay about $7 a book. And so that includes hardcover, chapter books, board books, and the shipping to get them down to Honduras. And whatever the school puts in will match. And so that's one of the ways we've always had sustainability in trying to help schools replenish their own books. However, some things we still want to work on is what teacher training can we provide? How can we continue encouraging schools that already have a library? And so this is a really exciting program called Reignite, a completely new way for us to benefit schools in the Chispa network. We chose 5 different schools that we then asked if they wanted to, we invited to apply. And out of those folks picked these 5 schools. And we picked them because they demonstrated the ability to reignite their literacy programs, to revamp their library usage. And so we worked on that in 3 different levels, on student level, on teacher level, and on library committee level. And so trying to set goals for each of those and seeing what data then we could also learn from these programs. So we're hoping to track now the number of library visits by each class a little more closely than we have in the past. We want to track specific kids reading, so the average number of minutes each student spends reading. And by the end of the project, our goal is that each student will spend at least 45 minutes per week reading, and that teachers will conduct at least 2 lesson plans, official lesson plans per month using the library books. And so really trying to help teachers integrate and provide prizes and incentives for kids and teachers and student committees to stay active. And so that's one of the things we'll be looking for in the future, is trying to figure out what kind of follow-up can we provide, and what's kind of the minimum that we should provide or can provide that will have the highest level of participation for following years. And so, Sarah, one of the questions was how many total schools applied? I believe we invited 10 to apply, and we got 7 applications. And because some schools said, no, we just don't have the time to really do this heavy hands-on work. And we picked 5 of those schools based on those applications or interviews with the schools. So we also, because of our previous relationships with schools, we knew kind of who might apply or who would be interested in doing this. And I was going to come up with one more piece of information. Yeah, so that program will be finishing up here at the end of the school year. And out of our 92 schools, we're hoping to take these lessons and figure out how to apply them now to the rest of the 92 schools that we've worked in. The age group for that 45 minutes a week is for all the students. So this year we're working with a middle school. Most of our programs focus on elementary schools. And so we've got 2 schools that are grades 1 through 6, 1 school that is K through 6. You've got your middle school, which is 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And then that last school would be 1st through 6th grade as well. Yeah, great questions, guys. Keep those coming. All right, now for some funniest moments shared from our staff today.
Un momento divertido para mí han sido todas las veces que nos ha tocado representar a Lucía. Nos ha tocado representar a Lucía en la Feria del Libro, ya que es una pequeña dramatización que se hace junto con docentes, bueno, con los bibliotecarios en las escuelas, y es divertido ver cómo los niños se divierten, disfrutan bastante esta experiencia muy bonita para ellos y por supuesto también para nosotros.
Algo divertido que recuerdo de este año y que la verdad nunca voy a olvidar es que durante la inauguración de una biblioteca, mientras nuestra querida Sara estaba dando las palabras de agradecimiento a la comunidad educativa, los estudiantes, los docentes, las autoridades prepararon fuegos artificiales y de repente empezamos a ver cómo salían los volcanes de fuego a la orilla del escenario y que los niños empezaron a encender luces de bengala como simulando la chispa que llevan por dentro. Eso fue algo muy, muy divertido.
¿Qué ha sido lo más cómico que me sucedió este año? Hay muchas cosas, pero podría mencionar 2 de ellas. Uno fue cuando nos mudamos a la nueva oficina, en este lugar donde estamos, y con el compañero Alex y Glenn tomamos la gran idea de venir y subirnos en uno de los estantes de metal y ir hacia la oficina de nuestros otros compañeros y ir gritando, suba, 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 venga, vámonos, vámonos. Y íbamos simulando como que íbamos en un carro. También recuerdo cuando en la escuela Manuel Bonilla, muchos de los niños, incluso maestros, muy emocionados, ellos gritaban, chispa, chispa. Pero algo muy gracioso fue cuando todos ellos gritaban el nombre de Sara, Sara. Y en cada una de las cosas que ellos nos obsequiaron, habían pequeñas fotografías de Sara. Incluso uno de sus retratos fue dibujado por una de las niñas de la escuela.
So that last moment he shared, I feel like is definitely one of my most embarrassing moments. That was pretty wild. Each school does their own inauguration. So when they inaugurate a library, we invite each school to be in charge of that inauguration and or the official celebration at the beginning of the inauguration. So if they want to cut, the ribbon to go into their new library, if they would like to invite their local mayor, if they would like to have important people, or if the kids want to do some kind of dramatization. But definitely one of the most memorable moments of this year was the school that did fireworks and then put my small picture on everything in this very funky way. But such the way that they show gratitude, and it's just such a fun moment to share in. All right, next up we have the some strategic plan outlines, and so I'm going to invite Maiko, who is going to be sharing with us today about some of the strategic plans that we've already started working through for this past year, 2024, and we'll continue with the next 2 years. So thank you, Maiko.
Good evening, everyone. So nice to have you here. Again, my name is Maiko, and I'm the president of the board of directors. And our board currently consists of 8 members with unique backgrounds. Our number one goal as a board is to support CHISPA's operations and also to make sure that CHISPA fulfills our mission, which is to spark a culture of reading through students' access to books. So earlier this year, CHISPA staff and the board made a 3-year strategic plan. The purpose of the strategic plan was to acknowledge our achievements to date, analyze our challenges, and then also determine our objectives and goals for the next 3 years. So today I would like to give you the overview of the plan. When we started designing, next slide, please. When we started designing our strategic plan, this is what we saw. CHISPA is a small and relatively young organization with dedicated and very passionate staff. We saw increasing demands coming from school communities to establish libraries and to provide opportunities for students to read. But we were not able to respond to all the demands. There were various reasons. We did not have sufficient number of staff. We had limited financial resources. We also recognized the needs to review and improve the content of teacher training as well. Next slide, please. So based on this situation analysis, we selected the 3 objectives, 3 goals where we want to be by the end of 2026. First, we will want to increase students' access to reading opportunities. We will reach more schools, more students every year. Secondly, we will strengthen CHISPA's capacity in order to provide better services to school communities. This includes increasing staff numbers and organizational capacity, and also reviewing and adding contents to teacher training as well. Lastly, but not least, we will also increase financial resources with diversified donor base as well. Next slide, please. So this year is the first year we're implementing the current strategic plan. In our earlier sessions, we shared this year's result, and I'm very happy with what we have achieved this year and hope to do more next year. In terms of access to reading opportunity, next year we aim at reaching 10 schools. And through the Reignite project, this year we engaged with the schools previously supported by CHISPA and really re-energized their libraries. We hope to continue this effort next year. In terms of increasing our capacity, in addition to hiring more staff members, We've also worked on strengthening our financial management systems. We will continue to do this next year as well to increase our accountabilities with our partners as well. Also, I am very proud to share that we implemented the teacher training pilot project, which Sarah talked about. And it was to provide more rigorous training for teachers so they are better equipped and inspired to be creative in the use of library books in their teaching. We also plan to continue this pilot next year. As for the budget, through our very generous donors, we have raised roughly $350,000 this year. Looking forward, as we register ourselves as a Honduran NGO, this will open up new opportunity, a new window of funding for us. We will seek out resources available to Honduran NGOs as well. And we really appreciate your continued generous support to CHISPA. So as I said earlier, CHISPA is a small and young organization, but I really believe that we have a lot of potential to grow, and we need to grow to provide services to the school communities in Honduras. We will strive to be the organization always learning and improving ourselves, our projects, our relationship with key stakeholders, including partners like you, so that we can continue to spark a culture of reading among children of Honduras. So thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, comments, or even like if you have new networking opportunities, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Go off stage. Do you have any favorite things in the strategic plan that you've enjoyed seeing happen this year, or that you're looking forward to in these next couple of years? Sorry, I'm just going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, well, no, what I really enjoyed the most is the new project of the Reignite program, re-engaging with previously supported schools by CHISPA. And we haven't concluded this program this year yet, but I'm really looking forward to getting the feedback from the teachers, how they thought, and also feedback from the students, and see how we could do better next year as well.
We've always done post evaluations for our programs, but this will be a different way to kind of check in on some of these schools in a very intimate way, more so than we've been able to do in the past because of limited resources. So as you can see with these numbers, we're working with, about 5,000 students total this year, and through the Reignite program and through new libraries. And that's with a staff of 8 people. And so we're able to do that because of all the community involvement, because of local volunteers and the international volunteers that come help us install those big libraries for 1,000 kids, 500 kids. And I think this is Maiko's first year as president. And so we're really looking forward to having her on the ground in Tegucigalpa, where she lives with her family. And she and Glenn will be headed out next week to do some of those focus groups for the Reignite program. And Jim, you've got some great questions going on here. So we have different types of post evaluations. And so some of those are right after our teacher training. We do post evaluations with the kids, written ones with the teachers as well at the end of a library program. We do them also with our committees. How did the committee feel about what we promised versus what we delivered? And so we do a lot of that for our current library year. But after that year-long program, we don't have the financial resources then to continue to go back, or haven't until now. And so trying to figure out, how much does that cost to go back into schools? Or if a school for let's say 700 kids cost a year-long reading program with a new library, teacher training, parent training, student training, all the inauguration, as well as the year-long follow-up that our staff continually visits once or twice a month to that school, that costs about $20,000. And so then what would continuing, and that's based on the size of a school, but what would then, how much would you have to reinvest in a school year after year to help continue kind of develop new teachers or continue to check in? So yeah, thank you. Maiko, anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's all from me. Thank you.
Yeah. Another question that just popped up is, how do we select new locations? So yeah, that is really hard, because out of those 400 schools that are then on our application list, really, they all deserve it. How do you decide who needs it the most, who deserves it the most? That can be very difficult. And so a lot of it depends on a few different factors. First, we'll sit down. So we actually did this a couple months ago, sat down and looked at where can we physically get to in the country. Like this year, we know that we need to go back to Lake Yohoa because we're doing a second year with a pilot program school. So why don't we look at some other schools in that area because we're already traveling there? Another thing is, we know we have this many volunteer groups, and this volunteer group would like to focus on this area. This volunteer group would like to focus on this area. And so we know that volunteer groups also help fund libraries. And so based on where they want to go or where we can receive a group, we'll pick some schools based on those. We also get specific donors that have different areas or different ways that they'd like to focus on. So for example, this year, the American Embassy was doing a program for that focused on girls. And so, we had a girls' school apply a year or two before. Let's go talk to them. And so then it is kind of this chicken and the egg thing, right? Which one comes first? And so based on based on where we're able to get to, based on the funding we have available, we'll then reach back out to schools and ask them if they'd like to formally apply. So that list of 400 schools I told you about, it's a quick form, the interest form that they fill out, but we don't put them through the serious application process until we know that we can really accept them, or there's a good possibility that we have funding for their school. And so that application process is pretty intensive interviewing. We want to make sure it's a school that's ready to work hard. All of our schools also help fund and fundraise for their school, for their library. So it's a symbolic one-time percentage based on the size of their school. And that's about 4% of every project is fundraised by the community itself. So we want to make sure they understand, here's the expectations, here's the work, the resources you're going to put in, here's what we promise you. Do you want to apply officially? And so based on that, it is a couple-month process to kind of figure out our schools for each year. And so we're currently doing that now, doing that interview process for new schools. And then the last question I'll take here before moving on. There are teacher colleges in Honduras. We've definitely done some of those training programs with them, but it is difficult. There's not a lot of point to teaching teachers how to use books in a college if they're not going to have books in their school. And so while we do offer different workshops and really, if someone asks us for a training, we try to accommodate and balance that and curate that workshop for their needs. But otherwise, teachers don't generally have books in schools. And so preparing them to use books when they don't have books doesn't make sense at this point. I'm going to keep us going, Jim, and I will come back to your question. So we'd love to show you kind of the new office. A lot of you have seen our old office, and so this is kind of fun to see our new office, and our staff really enjoyed making this video to share with you. So Anna, our associate director, put together this tour for you to kind of show you how we work and the resources that we really are proud of, how we use the limited resources we have to make the most of reaching all these 5,000 students.
Hello everyone, welcome to our new office. Come on with me. So this is our new office. We moved here in June of this year and we are so excited, and I want to show you to everyone. So come. So this is our new library. Come, that's with me. In this library we have all titles that we need in the 3 different sections that everybody knows. We have here intermediate, and we have all these books. We have advanced, everybody knows, Harry Potter, dictionary, and all these amazing novels, and beginners. All this is possible thanks to all donations that everybody does. We keep here all the books, intermediate, in all the boxes. All these books are classified, and it's something that we take the time and do during the modeling stuff. And in this space we have the advanced books. So it's a very cool way to use like this little space. We use every space that we have in this office. So we have advanced, intermediate, and the beginner, it's over here in this other space. We have a lot of beginner books, so they have their own room. If everybody can see, we have a lot of boxes with all the books that we need to every opening library. And it's amazing actually, because every year we are still buying and buying, because we are searching all the time the best titles for every school, and this is not the last time. So we are very excited because we have so many books, and we have this possibility to give all these books next year. So this is the first floor. Come with me and see the second floor. This is the space when we keep all the stuff for inauguration, right? We have scissors, we have the papers, we have chalk, all the things that we always need for every inauguration, we keep here. It's an amazing space, because in the last office, well, we have to share like the office of the team with all this stuff, and when we have volunteers, it's a little bit close the space for everyone. We really like the space. We have the opportunity to buy a lot of bookshelves, a special space for copying stuff. So it's really great. And this is one of the offices. And in this space, you can see we have a special space for all the things that we need when the team is going to training teacher. We have all the stuff. We have the folders, we have the stickers, the bags that we give to the teachers, markers, every stuff we have in this space. So now all is separate. We don't have more mixed stuff. And it's amazing. I really need it if you need. So hey, say hi, Lester.
Hi.
And the last space is one office more. This is the office number 2. This is the space where Marvin, Dunya, say hi, Dunya, and we work. It's a pleasure, and I hope that everybody likes this place. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So that is our new office. You can see in our new office just all the different supplies and all the different moving parts that there are to logistically organize each of these programs. And yeah, the 4% fundraising goes well at every school. That is a requirement. And so we have really great participation from the school because of that fundraising requirement. And local government funds, it is up to each school if they want to get their local government involved. So several schools do ask the mayor for help with that, or do some small fundraisers, sell tamales, sell used clothing, to raise that portion of their funds. So any questions about that new office space too? Just really excited to be able to kind of spread everything out in different sections. And so that is, that's that. Yeah, Jim, you're asking great questions, so keep it up. And folks, anyone else, feel free to pop in there. Next part is what's next? What else can you do to get involved with Chispa? And one of the ways we presented at the beginning was we do that school supply drive once a year. Certainly, we have several folks that do monthly donations, which really help with our sustainability and helping us prepare for the future. And then another great way to get involved and come see what we do in person is volunteering with us. And so Glenn has been working on his English for you and wants to tell you a little bit more about those programs. So we will share his video here. Oops. Sorry. Nope, I did that. Can you pull that back up, Eva?
This year, we have 4 volunteer trips. We opened libraries in Lago de Ojoa, Tegucigalpa, and Santa Rosa de Copan. Spoiler alert, we will have another trip in Copan this next year. Every trip is an adventure. Look at me. 2 years ago, I always say I cannot speak English. Well, Mauri, Diane, Kathleen, Dawn, Becky are some of my English teachers, because the volunteer trips not only change lives in the communities, but also our lives. The experience gives the opportunity to be part of something bigger, a blessing for the children, teacher, and parents. For me, the best part of the volunteer trips is the inauguration, the moment when all is done and the educational community gives sincere demonstration of gratitude. That moment is the result of many months of preparation and the start of a 1 year working with the school. We always listened to the educational community asking us about you, because their gratitude is a demonstration of success. You can be part of our history, changing lives one book at a time. Copan is an especially beautiful place. Well, Glenn has never been to Copan, so I don't know. We will be visiting for 12 days, working at the school and getting to know the city, making chocolate, working at a coffee farm, and visiting historical places. Like Chispa's previous volunteers, you can make a difference in Honduran education. Being part of this is an opportunity to enjoy your country, make a friend, or many, change lives, maybe your life, and of course, keep the spark on.
Thanks, Glenn, who is here with us today, who worked really hard on that. But I wanted him to present that because it has been really fun to see how myself and our coworkers are affected and changed and impacted by volunteers that come down. So and how volunteers are impacted. But it's been fun to see that go both ways in that exchange. So some of the trips that we are offering in 2025 are very special. So the first one is going to be in Tegucigalpa in February. So get out of the snow, come down to Tegucigalpa. It is the dry season. We'll be glad to have you there in Tegucigalpa. And the second trip is actually a really special kind of one-time offering. And so that trip is part volunteer and part tourism So we've had some previous volunteers ask for this option to go into Copan Ruinas, which is Honduras's largest developed or uncovered Mayan ruins. So I was married there. We've taken some different trips there. We have one school there so far. It's about 8 hours away from our office on the Guatemalan border. So that will be a 10-day trip, 12-day trip, I thought it was. 11 nights or something. So check that out. And that'll be a very different and unique offering. So kind of a one-time thing. And then in April, just a different location, but back to that regular 8-day library installation. And this is in conjunction with Spanish Learning Network out of Denver. And so we'll have a Spanish teacher along with us that will participate and help for those of you that want to participate in Spanish immersion. Otherwise, that same kind of thing. Within that week frame, we help install a library and inaugurate the library. So we need volunteers of all different ages and abilities. So we've had as young as a 3-year-old to an 83-year-old. And really, you're welcome to talk to us about any concerns you have about access. But otherwise, anyone can participate. It's a great thing to bring a grandkid on. It's a great thing to do with family or friends. And we really need the help, especially getting all the walls painted, getting books stickered, getting the bookshelves set up. So we're not building, we do want to work in the infrastructure that's already there. So these are our 3 trips that we're offering in spring of next year. Definitely check out those options. Usually those regular trips are going to be $1,100 a piece. And that includes everything on the ground. Your plane ticket is purchased separately. And except for that Copan trip, and you can find the special pricing for that online. But part of your fee goes into the library itself. So we want to make sure that our volunteers, in the same way that we're asking our communities, are participating with their resources as well as volunteering with their time. And speaking of that, so yeah, Jean asked about once the school year ends, is there any continued access during the summer breaks? And not generally, although it is up to the school. And so the school, we sit down with the school and with their committee, their library committee, and help them make their own policies. And so one of that would be what access is there to the library during the summer. And so each of them gets to decide that. But that does become pretty complicated just because teachers are on their summer breaks. But the reason we work in schools versus developing public libraries is because we really want to focus on that early childhood literacy. And so we want to work in infrastructures that are already in existence. So instead of trying to get new staff or make a new building or get people to come to a new place, we want to go to students. We want to work with students where they already are. And so in this very limited space for formal education, that is the space we want to find. And so, painting is part of the installation and done in conjunction with the school and with international volunteers, kind of depending on the size of the school. And so we paint in the school library as well as paint little murals in every classroom because we want that theme of reading to be throughout the school building, not just in the library. Yeah. All right. Any questions about those volunteer trips too? So really excited to have those offerings. We're getting people signed up now. So definitely get on those, especially that Copan trip is going to be filling up fast. So check out chispaproject.org/volunteer or email us directly and we'll get you connected or answer any questions that you may have about coming down to volunteer. I've got a few of you on this list that I see, Barbara, that should come down and come check out what you've helped support. So hope you can do that. All right, Eva, take it away. She's going to present one of the last ways to help get involved. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you all see me? Yes, awesome. Okay. I can't see myself, so that's fun. But the next way that you all could get involved would be to follow us on social media. So right now, if you have your phone next to you, you can take it out and take a picture of these different QR codes. One will take you to Facebook, one will take you to Instagram. But in a world where social media is just a point of connection, right? It's a point of building and maintaining community. We recognize the importance of connecting with you all through social media. So please, if you haven't already, follow us, give us a like. And also, please take this opportunity to share our social media with your friends. We are a grassroots organization. It is very important to us that we connect with people through word of mouth, through personal connections. And so it would be very meaningful for us if you were to think of some people who might be very interested in our mission, our vision, and everything that we do. Maybe they're interested in coming on a volunteer trip with you, or maybe they're just interested in donating some books. But at the end of the day, please share our social media with your friends and the people that you know. And so one way to do this, as Sarah is sharing her screen, is to go to our Facebook page. You can see once you're on the Chispa Facebook page, there's those like 3 little dots that are currently being highlighted. Those 3 little dots, when you scroll down, you see a label that says invite friends. So you'll need to click on invite friends, and your entire friends list will pop up. If you haven't invited Chispa to anyone, your entire friends list will show up. If you have invited people before, only the new uninvited people will show up. But please click, select all. That would be amazing. Or click on the people who you know will be really interested in our mission and our vision. And please give us a share.
Great, folks. So that is the end of our time tonight. Thanks for staying out with us.